Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashoda Nandana Pratijana Ranjana Yashoda Nandana Pratijana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vanatari Jamuna Tira Vanatari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashoda Nandana Pratijana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vanatari Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Shri Guru Prabhupada ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we're reading today from the Srimad-bhagavatam, Canto 8, Chapter 3, text number 17. The chapter is called Gajendra's Prayers of Surrender. Madrik Prapana Pashupasha Vimokshanaya Muktaya Bhuri Karunaya Namo Lalaya Swangshena Sarva Tanu Brind Manasi Pratita Pratyagrishe Bhagavate Prihate Namaste Madrik Prapana Pashupasha Vimokshanaya Muktaya Bhuri Karanaya Namo Lalaya Swangshena Sarva Tani Vrinu Manasi Pratita Pratyagrishe Bhagavate Brihate Namaste Madrik Prapana Pashupasha Vimokshanaya Muktaya Bhuri Karunaya Namo Lalaya Swangshena Sarva Tani Prin Manasi Pratita Pratyagrishe Bhagavate Brihate Namaste Madri Kripana Pashupasha Vimokshanaya Muktaya Bhuri Karunaya Namo Lalaya Brind Swangshena Sarva Tanu Brind Manasi Pratita Pratyagrishe Bhagavate Brihate Namaste Madrik Prapana Pashupasha Vimokshanaya Muktaya Bhuri Karunaya Namo Lalaya Swangshena Sarva Tani Masi Pratita Namaste Madrik like me Prapana surrendered Pashu an animal Pasha from entanglement Vimokshanaya unto he who releases Muktaya, unto the Supreme, who is untouched by the contamination of material nature. Bhuri Karunaya, who are unlimitedly merciful. Namaha, I offer my respectful obeisances. Alayaya, who are never inattentive or idle, for the purpose of my deliverance. Swa-ankshena, by your partial feature as Paramatma. Sarva, of all. Tanu Brit, the living entities embodied in material nature. Manasi, in the mind. Pratita, who are acknowledged. Pratyakdrishe, as the direct observer of all activities. Bhagavate, unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Brihate, who are unlimited. Namaha, I offer my respectful obeisances. Te, unto you. Translation. This is still Gajendra speaking, praying to the Lord. Since an animal such as I has surrendered unto you, who are supremely liberated, certainly you will release me from this dangerous position. Indeed, being extremely merciful, you incessantly try to deliver me. By your partial feature as Paramatma, you are situated in the hearts of all embodied beings. You are celebrated as direct transcendental knowledge, and you are unlimited. You are unlimited. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The sun's coming in. Sorry. Should we repeat after me? Since an animal such as I has surrendered unto you, who are supremely liberated, certainly you will release me from this dangerous position. Indeed, being extremely merciful, you incessantly try to deliver me. By your partial feature as Paramatma, you are situated in the hearts of all embodied beings. You are celebrated as direct transcendental knowledge, and you are unlimited. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Purport. Srila Prabhupada. The words Brihate Namaste have been explained by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Brihate Sri Krishnaya. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is Krishna. There are many tattvas, such as Vishnu Tattva, Jiva Tattva, and Shakti Tattva. But above everything is the Vishnu Tattva, which is all-pervading. This all-pervading feature of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is explained in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 10, verse 42, wherein the Lord says, Attva bahunaitena kingyatena tavarjuna Vishtabhyayham idam krishnam ekam shena stito jagat. Quote, but what need is there, Arjuna, for all this detailed knowledge? With a single fragment of myself, I pervade and support this entire universe. End quote. Chapter 10. That was just the opulences of the Absolute. So we finish reading the purport first. With a single fragment of myself, I pervade and support this entire universe. Thus, Krishna says that the entire material world is maintained by his partial representation as Paramatma. The Lord enters every universe as Garbhodakshai Vishnu and then expands himself as Kshirodakshai Vishnu to enter the hearts of all living entities and even enter the atoms. Andantara sta paramanu chayantara stam. Every universe is full of atoms, and the Lord is not only within the universe, but also within the atoms. Thus within every atom, the Supreme Lord exists in his Vishnu feature as Paramatma. But all the Vishnu Tattvas emanate from Krishna, as confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 10, verse 2, Aham Adir Hi Devanam. Krishna is the Adi, or beginning, of the Devas of this material world, Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara. Therefore, he is described here as Bhagavate Brihate. Everyone is Bhagavan. Everyone is Bhagavan. Everyone possesses opulence. But Krishna is Brihan Bhagavan, the possessor of unlimited opulence. Ishwara Parama Krishna. Krishna is the origin of everyone. Aham Sarvasya Prabhava. Even Brahma, Vishnu, and Maheshwara come from Krishna. Matak Partarang Nanyat Kinchit Asti Dhananjaya. There is no personality superior to Krishna. Therefore, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that Bhagavate Prihate means unto Sri Krishna. In this material world, everyone is a pashu, an animal, because of the bodily concept of life. Yashatma buddhi kunape tri datuke swadi kala tradishu bhama ichadi yadirtha buddhi shalile nakarhichid janesh Abhigeshu Saeva Gokara. Quote, this is the translation. A human being who identifies the body made of three elements as a self, who considers the byproducts of the body to be his kinsmen, who considers the land of his birth to be worshipable, and who goes to a place of pilgrimage simply to bathe rather than to meet men of transcendental knowledge there, is considered like a cow or an ass. That's from this verse from Srimad-bhagavatam 10th Canto, 84th chapter, 13th verse. Practically everyone, therefore, is a pashu, an animal, and everyone is attacked by the crocodile of material existence. Not only the elephants, but every one of us is being attacked by a crocodile and is suffering the consequences. Only Krishna can deliver us from the material existence. Indeed, he is always trying to deliver us. Ishwara sarva bhutanam hrideshti arjuna tishtati. He is within our hearts, and he is not at all inattentive. His only aim is to deliver us from the material life. It is not that he becomes attentive to us only when we offer prayers to him. Even before we offer our prayers, he incessantly tries to deliver us. He is never lazy in regard to our deliverance. Therefore, this verse says, Buri Karunaya Namo Lalaya. It is the causeless mercy of the Supreme Lord that he always tries to bring us back home, back to Godhead. God is liberated, and he tries to make us liberated. But although he is constantly trying, we refuse to accept his instructions. Sarva dharman parityaja mamikam sharanam vraja, which means give up all varieties of religion and surrender to me. Nonetheless, he has not become angry. Therefore, he is described here as Buri Karunaya, unlimitedly merciful in delivering us from the miserable material condition of life and taking us back home, back to God. Read that last sentence again. Therefore, he is described as Buri Karunaya, unlimitedly merciful in delivering us from the miserable material condition of life and taking us back home, back to God. Om Ajnana Timiranda Shakya Shalakaya Chakshurun Vilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. So there's a lot of points here. One point, this verse is quoted from the Srimad-bhagavatam. A human being who identifies the body made of three elements as the self, who considers the byproducts of the body to be his kinsmen, who considers the land of his birth to be worshipable, and who goes to a place of pilgrimage simply to bathe rather than to meet men of transcendental knowledge there, is to be considered like a cow or an ass. So for the most part, in the material world at any one time, most people are without transcendental knowledge. Practically everyone is acting on the level of animal, because the animals, the difference between an animal and a human being, or a human being who's acting properly as a human being, the difference is that the animal has no concept at all of being spirit soul. He has no concept of being the soul. For an animal, he is that body. The dog he's a dog. He identifies, I am a dog, and he acts as a dog. He has no concept of being an eternal soul that has nothing to do with that body. So people in general, they don't really identify with the soul. Even people um, who are believe in God, hardly, for the most part, hardly identify themselves as spirit soul. In fact, they usually say, at least I know when I grew up Christian background, they didn't talk about that we are this a soul and that we are inside this material body. They talk more that we are this body and we have to have a soul. We the body have a soul. So they identify that the actual self was the body, and then somehow there's a soul also there. And the general understanding was, general misunderstanding was that that only human beings have a soul. That they were you would think that we were taught like that. Only human beings have a soul. Only human beings' lives are sacred. So the animals and plants and so on are just somehow or other there. There's no soul. There's no. Anyway, there's some idea like that, which was wrong, and because of that feeling, in religious circles, for the most part, there's no reason to avoid slaughtering animals and eating meat and so on, because they're thinking that the animal is just that material body. I remember a friend of mine was telling me once that his father one time took him out fishing, and the boy he was a young boy at the time, maybe 10 years old or so, and his father took him out in a boat, and they were doing fishing, and they were taking a worm or a shrimp or something, and hooking it on, putting a hook through it as bait. And the boy said to the father, he was telling me later on, that he said, "Oh, that must really hurt." And he said, "No, they don't feel anything. They're just animals. They can't feel this." So this boy who couldn't really relate to that. How can they not feel it? And that's right, because wherever there's soul, there's feeling, there's life, there's senses. So anyway, based on the purport here, most people are by nature, until they get transcendental knowledge, till they accept guru, they're basically in the bodily concept of life, and bodily concept of life means animal life. So a human being in a bodily concept of life, it means identifying. It's animal consciousness. That's the difference between animal consciousness and human consciousness. So that verse that was quoted just says, a human being who identifies the body made of three elements. I assume that means it refers to the three modes of material nature in this case. As a self who considers the byproducts of the body to be its kinsmen, so that means children, or if it's an animal, then they have, cats have litters and dogs have litters, and other animals have whether they're offspring or what are called, but they identify. One identifies his children as kinsmen, which bodily we could say yes, that is true, but the understanding, the higher understanding is that we are all spirit souls. We've somehow or other we've come together in this particular lifetime as in these certain bodies. So someone might be a man and a woman may be together. So the children are born from those man and woman, and you have a family. But in the next lifetime, they may almost for certain will be a completely different relationship, not necessarily even in the human form of life. In fact, there's a story that Srila Prabhupada tells about a man. He was Shishi Gauranitai, Shishi Radha Vijayvihari, Jagannath, Balaram, Lady Subhadra, Vinashigane, Prahlad Maharaj Ki Jai. He tells a story of a man. He was wealthy in that particular lifetime. He worked very hard, built a house, nice land, so much facility for his family to have and enjoy. He spent his whole lifetime just doing good for the family. But he was somewhat sinful himself. So when he died, he took birth. Still had a human body, but he took birth in a lower position, like a Shudra position, and he became he was a beggar. And then one day he came to the not knowing of remembering his previous birth as the father and the head of that household. He came there to beg for some money for something, and his sons, who he had spent his whole previous lifetime, working very hard to give them a very nice facility. They saw him as a beggar, which he was in that lifetime, and they took shoes and they were beating him and chasing him away. Get out of here, you beggar! Don't bother us. But actually, that had a few years before that had been that soul had been in the body that was their father's body. So it's like that. That's so if we of course we have family, we have friends, we have our associates, but we should understand that we are all eternally spirit souls, and we all have an eternal relationship with Krishna, and actually we all have a relationship with each other too, but not in terms of the body. We have a temporary relationship right now in terms of the body, and we have to act according to that particular relationship. If we have if there's a man and his wife and some children, you can't just say, well, we are a spirit soul, we have nothing to do with each other, and then ignore each other and neglect the duties as parents and so on. You can't do that. In this lifetime, we have to act according to our particular material position, but we still should understand that we have an eternal relationship with Krishna, and of course, this body is very temporary. Very temporary. This lifetime, it disappears very quickly. It passes by very quickly, like that. When, in fact, it's when time is it's perception. So when we were very young, when a child's maybe 3 years old and 4 years old, and his birthday is being celebrated, and he's looking at his his 5-year-old or 6-year-old or 10-year-old brothers and sisters. He's just thinking, wow, when am I going to grow up? Then I can do this thing that my brother's doing, or this thing that my sister's doing, like that. He's thinking like that. Time seems to go so slow. Why does it take? I'm 5 years. Why does it take me so long to become 6 years old? He's thinking like that. And then as time goes on, then we get very busy in life. The birthdays don't matter so much. And then when we get in an old age, then we're thinking, what happened to my life? Seems like just yesterday I was playing around and doing, trying to enjoy my senses in so many ways. Now I can't do anything. Now I'm old and I'm sick and I'm incapable of practically doing anything. My life has gone very quickly, and then they say where people go or live in a kind of hospice, which means they're about ready to die, and then they have the saying, every day is a gift. We take the early part of life. The early part of life, we say this is the eternal age. Not actually eternal, but it seemed like that. Oh, I want to live forever. I can enjoy. I can do anything I want to do right now. I can play around. I can do crazy sports, like that. I can do anything I want to do, and then and there's no problem. But as life goes on, especially when we get to the end, then we got to be very careful where we step, careful that we don't get dizzy and fall over, and break our head or something. So life is but this whole lifetime goes very quickly. At the end of life, we think, what happened to it? So, but ultimately, the idea is that we should, from the beginning of our lives, we should take up the path of Krishna consciousness. Of course, we may not have known it. We may not have known about Krishna consciousness in the very beginning of our lives, but at some point, we come to know of Krishna consciousness, and we take it up, and we should take it up as early as possible. Prahlad Maharaj was preaching to his classmates, and he was just maybe 5 years old at the time. He was in Gurukula. Gurukula started at 5 years old. So he was preaching to them about you should become Krishna conscious. And what are they saying? Oh, Prahlad, we can become Krishna conscious later in life. Right now, let us play. We have so many things to do. We play. We have to go. And he says, yes. Now you want to play, and then later on, or actually they were in school. So now you're in school you'll be in school for so many years, studying very hard, and you'll say, I can't take up Krishna consciousness because I'm in school right now. I have too much work to do, too much studying to do. And then later on, you grow up and you get married and you have family, and then another 25 years will go taking care of family until the children are all grown up and on their own. And so that's by that time you're 50 or 60 years old, and then you start but then your body starts wearing down. So then in old age you experience what's called invalidity. You become invalid, and then you can't do anything. So he was preaching to them like that. He says you should take up Krishna consciousness now. And he's telling them at 5 years old, start now, chant Hare Krishna now. Do whatever devotional service you can now, and continue to the end. Because at the end, even if you still have a desire to do it, it'll be very difficult to take it up at that point, like that. So, and of course, who've taken up the path of Krishna consciousness now, we take it up whatever age we took it up. So we can't say I should have taken it up when I was a child, because we maybe not have known about it. But we took it up, this path of Krishna consciousness, and we need to take it very seriously until the end. And the end it goes very quickly. I've been personally, I joined in at the age of 19 in 1971, and it's been 52 years or so. It has gone very fast. It doesn't seem like that. I only remember I calculate the years, but it's actually been that many years. And the body, of course, is slowing down. If I had not taken up the path until now, it would be a lot different. So, but the idea is we take it up, and what Krishna looks for is not just that we take it up, but that we continue, and we continue until the very end of our lives. This is the path. This is the way. Not that we take it up and quit, and take it up and quit, but if we can take it up and commit to this process of Krishna consciousness, and continue it until the very end of our lives, then Srila Prabhupada promises that we will remember Krishna at the time of death, and we will go back home, back to Godhead. Even someone who didn't take it up early, if they get some special mercy, they might be able to remember Krishna at the end. But we don't want to take that chance. There's a story of one devotee in ISKCON. I don't remember who the devotee was right off, but the devotee in the ISKCON, he took up the path of Krishna consciousness, and he was always preaching to his mother, sending her little small books, Krishna conscious books, and preaching to her. And she wasn't really openly showing any real interest, but but anyway, he was always trying to help her like that. So in due course of time, she became old, and she was about to die, and he was with her, and then one point she said, "So where is your Krishna now? Where is your Krishna now?" And then she left her body. And so this devotee told Srila Prabhupada about this, and Srila Prabhupada said, yes. So she was thinking about Krishna at the time of death. She's gone back to Krishna. So here's someone who didn't even practice Krishna consciousness, but by the mercy of a devotee, particularly her son in this case, she was able to remember Krishna at the last moment, last moment of her life. So that's. But we shouldn't just assume that we will remember Krishna at the last moment. We should work very hard in becoming Krishna conscious. And that basically just means we chant our rounds, we follow the four regular principles, and we do everything we can to engage our lives in Krishna's devotional service. We just continue to do this until the end. And the process is nice. I mean, the process is called, in one of Narottama Das Thakur's songs, he describes the path of devotional service as Kevala Ananda Kanda. The Kevala Ananda Kanda. It means that the process itself is joyful. It's not like the processes in previous ages where you're practicing your Stanga yoga system, and you're having to sit out under the hot sun during the summer with a ring of fire all around you, and meditating on the description of the Lord in the heart, the Paramatma. You spend your time, your summers like that, and in the winters you're spending your winters sitting in icy water up in the mountains, and sitting in water up to the neck, in ice cold water all day, and the same thing, you're meditating like that on the super soul in the heart. Um, so anyway, there's a lot of austerity, and to get to the point where you can engage in devotional service. So our process is very nice. It's very simple. It's very joyful, because our process. It's not that we have to go through so much just to control the senses so that we can start to engage in devotional service. What we have is what the path that Lord Chaitanya gave us is um, is actually devotional service from the beginning. Lord Chaitanya knew that we're really fallen in this age. And so there's no question of spending, thousands of years or tens of thousands of years, like in Satya Yuga, practicing that very difficult system. And when you get to control your senses, then you finally start to engage in devotional service. There's no question of that in this age. We have to start from the beginning. The process itself has to be joyful. We don't have the intelligence and the determination and the focus to do this for a whole lifetime, and engage in devotional service at the end. So the process in this age is chanting the holy names of the Lord. That's the process. And chanting Hare Krishna is nice. It's pleasing. It's enjoyable. And it is in itself the way of becoming Krishna conscious. So what we're practicing to become Krishna conscious is also what we do after we become Krishna conscious. It's not like we practice chanting Hare Krishna for so many years, and then when we become Krishna conscious, then we throw the holy name away. No, it's the process to become Krishna conscious, and the process that's practiced eternally after becoming Krishna conscious is the same. And that process is very nice. The chanting of Hare Krishna mantra is very nice, like that. So that's that point. So Srila Prabhupada also writes here, it's interesting the way Srila Prabhupada wrote this. Everyone is Bhagavan. Everyone possesses opulence. But Krishna is Brihan Bhagavan, the possessor of unlimited opulence. So yes, we all have some kind of opulence. The opulences are beauty, fame, strength, knowledge, renunciation, and what? Fame, beauty, strength, knowledge, renunciation. And then one more, which is renunciation. Renunciation. So Krishna, if we are attracted to anyone, there's so many famous people in the world. If you look at any famous person, or if some person that people are attracted to, then you'll see that they have, to some degree more than the common person, they have some kind of opulence. There may be a wealth person. If someone has, we used to say if someone has $1 million, but $1 million is not that much anymore. If someone has $1 billion or $200 billion in their name, you think, wow, this person's really, there's something attractive about them. If someone is extraordinarily beautiful or extraordinarily handsome, like that, then there's an opulence. We become attracted to that. If someone is just famous for some reason, famous or infamous, something, so you might be attracted to someone because they're infamous. They're so they're so bad or so evil in some way. Maybe that attracts us, depending on our own modes of the material nature. So we all have some opulence on some level, to some degree. We all have something. But Lord Krishna, he has unlimited opulence and unlimited to an unlimited degree. It means Krishna's beauty is not only is it unlimited, but it increases constantly. And every time Krishna's beauty is constantly increasing. Krishna is not only intelligent, but he knows everything. He's the creator of everything. He's actually the source of our intelligence. Krishna says, I'm seated in everyone's heart, and from me comes remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. So he's the source of our intelligence. So of course he knows everything himself. But he knows everything. Not only does he know everything in terms of book knowledge and that kind of knowledge, he also knows and understands everything that's in our heart. Because we could say, okay, I'm intelligent. I know what there's so much I've learned. I know what I'm thinking. I'm very smart. But we don't know what someone else is thinking or what someone else is feeling. Maybe to a little degree we can see something, but for the most part we don't know. But Krishna, he's there in everyone's heart. He's a super soul. He knows everything. Everything we know is because it's coming from him. Anything we can remember from now or from a previous lifetime, or like our desires from before, we talked about yesterday, the other 2 days ago. We can remember it because he remembers it, and he's giving it. He's telling us. He's reminding us of it. So in so many ways, the Krishna has unlimited knowledge, wealth, fame, beauty, and so on. And he has all these things, and still he's completely renounced. He doesn't need anything. He's not attached to anything. He has so many things. So he is Bhagavan, having all 6 opulences, but he has them in full. Whereas we're a little Bhagavan, in a sense. We because we are part and parcel of Krishna. He is complete. We have a little tiny bit of opulence compared to him. And another point here, which we find interesting, I actually mentioned this the other day, but now here it comes up in the purport. The Paramatma, the whole universe is held together, so to speak, by the Paramatma. It's not the Paramatma, the super soul, the Vishnu form, Kshirodaksha Vishnu, actually, who's in our heart. He's about this big. It's described about 8 inches tall, right about there. He's in there. We can't see him. You're not going to see him with a X-ray machine, but he's there. So that Paramatma, he's everywhere, and without him being there, without his control, without his energy, nothing will. Everything in the whole universe would just. It wouldn't be together. There would be nothing together in the universe. So, scientists might look at they say the atom is the smallest particle, or parts of the atom are the smallest particles, but they concluded that the atom is that there are particles going around and around and around like the nucleus of the atom, like that. in a very organized, controlled way. But nothing is controlled without someone controlling it. So that controller is Krishna, super soul, the same super soul that's in our heart. He also becomes very small, very small. He's about 8 inches described in the area of our heart, and for a human being that is. But he's also in the atom, the same form. He's in the atom. So the atom is, well, atom's so small I can't show you like this. But he's there. He's in the atom, and it's not like he's crowded in the atom. He can put his arms out, and he has plenty of room because he's very small to be inside that and be inside the atom. And because he's there, then all this intricate activity that has been determined by material scientists that's going on in that atom. He's controlling it. It's happening because he is there, and he's basically controlling everything in the material universe. Everything is organized and controlled because he's present there. And this is just a partial representation, it's described in the purport of the Lord. And Krishna, of course, is the Lord Krishna in Goloka Vrindavan, playing on his flute, enjoying with the gopis and the cowherd boys like that. He is a source of that Paramatma, that super soul. So Lord Krishna is, and that Lord Krishna is who we have an opportunity to regain our eternal relationship with Him. We have that opportunity by practicing this path of Krishna consciousness that Srila Prabhupada has given us. Chant our rounds, follow the principles, stay in the association of devotees, just do our best, try to avoid offenses, these things, and somehow or other, one way or another, stay in the process until the end of this material, when this body ends. And by doing that, then if we can do that until the end of our lives, then we become the rightful heir of the spiritual world, as the Lord says. We become the rightful heir of the spiritual world. And an example is given that just like a man has his son automatically inherits whatever the father leaves when the father dies. Only qualification of the son, putting aside any legal considerations like that, but the natural position is when the father dies, the son gets what the father left. So in the same way, the son, but just by remaining alive, that's his only qualification. He remains alive. When his father dies, the son is also still living. So that's his qualification. So in the same way, we are practicing Krishna consciousness. We are alive in spiritual life because we're practicing Krishna consciousness. And at the end of our lives, as long as if we are still at the end of our lives, we are still alive spiritually in Krishna consciousness, then we get the blessing that we can go back home, back to God. We can go to the spiritual world because of simply remaining alive in spiritual life, engaging in Krishna consciousness. This is our this is what Lord Krishna is giving us. He has given us this, and that's why Srila Prabhupada would say, you chant your rounds every day, you follow the 4 Veda principles, keep in the association of devotees, keep engaged in devotional service. All these things are pleasing activities, right? We can just do that and keep doing that until the end of this body, and then that is the qualification, and we can go back to the spiritual world. And once Krishna says that once having returned to my eternal abode, you will never come back to this material world again. So that sounds like a pretty good deal, right? We can go back to the spiritual world, and we don't have to come back to this material world. Another birth, another death, another disease, no old age. We don't have to go back to this again. So this is all blessings of Lord Chaitanya and blessings of the acharyas like Srila Prabhupada and the others before Srila Prabhupada, and of course those who are preaching Krishna consciousness now. I'm just noticing the time. So let me see if there's any questions. I see one. Is there any hope for a fallen soul like myself to have taken up Krishna consciousness at an old age? Could I be a Vaishnava one day? Yes, of course. Anyone who takes up the path of Krishna consciousness has all opportunity, to become fully Krishna conscious in this lifetime. First of all, if we've taken up Krishna consciousness now, we're not starting just now. We're not just starting now. We've, in all probability, we've been practicing, making spiritual advancement along the way for lifetimes, and for some reason we didn't start off early in our lives, but that doesn't mean that we have to keep coming back again and again. We just take up the path seriously. Just like I told the story of the lady who didn't even take up Krishna consciousness, but somehow or other she remembered Krishna at the time of death. But basically, because her son kept preaching to her, and she, somehow in her difficult situation at the time of giving up her body, she says, "Where is your Krishna now? You know, why is I'm suffering? Why is he? Where is he now? Why doesn't he help me?" Whatever it was. But so, where is your Krishna now? And she, just by doing that, remembering Krishna at that moment, then she went back to Godhead, according to Srila Prabhupada. So what to speak of those who have dedicated their lives to Krishna consciousness? Even if we start off when we're old, that doesn't matter. At any point, we start off and we continue practicing Krishna consciousness to the end of our lives. And even if we don't practice the Krishna consciousness to the very end, and we maybe don't go back to Godhead in this lifetime, we'll be in a much better position in the next lifetime. But don't, Srila Prabhupada said, don't take advantage of that. He said, give one lifetime, at least one life. Give this one lifetime, not a lifetime, but this one lifetime, 100% Krishna service. And then by doing that, you'll become Krishna conscious and you'll be completely happy. We've tried thousands and millions of billions of lifetimes pleasing Maya so that we could become happy, and we still didn't work. So give one lifetime, only one, for Krishna, but 100%, and then we'll become completely happy in Krishna consciousness and go back home, back to Godhead. So I think I have to end here. I have other duties to perform. Thank you, everyone who's come in, and we will tomorrow we read Chaitanya Charitamrita. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.